So, World Meteorological Day is observed every year on the 23rd of March to highlight the importance of the role that people and their behavior play in protecting Earth's atmosphere. The day also commemorates the establishment of the World Meteorological Organization (WMO), which is an intergovernmental body, on March 23rd, 1950, according to WMO's website. Yes, that's what they say, which is official. Now, the day showcases the essential contribution of national meteorological and hydrological services to the safety and well-being of our society. On this note, let me bring in my colleagues so we can have a dialogue on the issue for today and how important it is for us, to take this day and take a real look at things and see what are we doing to actually cause harm to our environment, our atmosphere, and what are we doing to preserve it and protect it, so we can, try to balance the odds. If what we're doing is really bad and we notice it, let's change our ways. And what we're doing that is good, we continue and increase. Let me start with my colleague here, Hafiz Gunu.
Barry.
Chairman,
Ade.
when I was talking about Ellen Elgin, you were like, too bad. I mean, for the fear of the fact that you would not be granted patent. You sell your invention and something that could lead to, generational profits.
Having to invent something and then distance yourself from it.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Like giving birth and then giving your child to someone else. Terrible experience.
The reaction. And she was right. I mean, we saw the kids in the gas masks.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, but
that's just by the way, not to digress.
Anyway.
Today
is
another important day.
Yes. World Meteorological Day.
Absolutely.
Yes, you said quite a bit about it, but it's simply a day set aside to highlight the contributions of not just the meteorological service, but the hydrological service as well.
Exactly.
In the promotion of safety and well-being of the society.
Right.
And so if you're talking about the meteorological service, you're talking about the body that is dealing with the Earth's atmosphere.
Exactly.
Issues that has to do with understanding the variations in temperature of the Earth's atmosphere, the moisture pattern that is anyway. And the hydrology, well, it's self-explanatory. Hydro means water. So it has to do with everything water. Anyway, but World Meteorological Day. Now, but then again, with issues of meteorology, issues of climate change becoming an ever-present feature in conversations on environment these days.
On global stage,
Exactly. The work of the meteorologists cannot be overemphasized.
Absolutely.
Yes, because you see, before modern science, if you look at the works of civilizations before and cultures before, they had their ways of forecasting or predicting the weather and everything. Because ranging from just simply looking at the direction of the wind or the clouds and even the sudden appearance of certain animals or insects was enough to determine there's going to be a weather change.
Yeah.
But what modern science has done is give us a detailed observation of issues these days.
Right.
So it's not just about whether or not it's going to rain, but you understand the behavior of a particular locality you find yourself in. And then because of the data, you are able to better plan ahead.
Right.
So that's what meteorology has been able to do for us, especially in the modern era. And besides, if you look at the indigenous ways of doing things, the knowledge in that department was usually transmitted orally through the generations. So what it means is that when there's a generational gap, the knowledge was locked somewhere. So and it wasn't documented. So
so they lose, some of these.
Part of it. So I think that is where modern sciences tends to trump indigenous knowledge in terms of the way and how we go about things. But all in all, like I said, meteorology has become a very important part of our daily lives. And what the work they do. I mean, we've seen it primarily affect the agricultural sector in terms of the economy. Even in the transport industry, we are talking about the air and shipping industry. We've seen how the knowledge on the behaviors of the weather can affect transport in that regard. There's also even the military, in terms of planning for deployment and everything. Their troops, they use that to determine whether or not they are engaging in air or ground combat and
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
the work of the meteorologists cannot be overemphasized.
Absolutely.
But then again, I think it's one of the toughest jobs in the world, and later I will explain why.
I think so. All right, the show is Africa Daily. You can join us with your own thoughts and contributions as well on our WhatsApp platform +233-2070-64680 or via our Facebook page Africa Global Radio. We'll be bringing my other colleagues Epi and Mommy. Let me start with Epi. Today is World Meteorological Day, as well as looking at the Hydrological department as well.
Yeah, that's like very true. As much as we're talking about everything happening in the atmosphere, 'cause I mean, when you hear meteorological, you're thinking of atmosphere, the wind, the rain, the sun, like all those things.
Back in the days, I know it was like, just tell us when the rain will fall. Yeah, I know, right? Okay.
I think one major thing that plays a key role in all of this is the ocean. It's the one piece that makes everything fit. It's the one piece that holds everything together. And our consistent and continuous care and neglect of it could actually either hold us or make us fall.
Right.
Now, one thing about the ocean, it actually covers 70% of the Earth's surface. I think this is not a new fact. Everybody knows that. And it carries more than 90% of world trade. On it, I mean, the vessels that come across, all of them use the ocean of that. Now, it also sustains 40% of humanity that live within 100 kilometers of the coast. Some of them get their livelihood from these oceans. Now, the key thing about the ocean is that it actually traps and absorbs like 90% of heat directly from the sun, and that is protecting and keeping us humans safe. Exactly. That's something we have to literally focus and watch on as well. And it's something we're not really working on. I mean, sea levels are accelerating. We have glaciers that are melting and we're not, probably the sun is too hot. Probably we're not wondering why. Plastic waste is a big deal.
Yeah, polluting the water bodies and all.
If today we're talking about, I mean, the World Meteorological Day, I think we need to focus and look at that big aspect, because if the ocean ceases to actually fit or be the way it is as it started from the genesis, if mishaps keep happening and global warming continues, that little thing could affect the whole meteorological cycle. And it's something we really need to put our foot down against.
Okay. Thank you, Epi. Let me go on to Mommy and, hear what she's got for us today. Have you ever thought about being a weather forecast reporter?
It was nice to see.
Yeah.
I mean, you see them on TV. Growing up, you see them on TV and you think it's easy because you just have to stand in front of the map.
Yeah.
And say, oh, the temperature is going to be 38 degrees Celsius here, and it's going to rain. And you know Hillary on Fresh Prince?
Did you have to take me back?
You know she was a weather girl. She made it seem so easy. All you had to do was look good.
Yeah.
Stand in front of there and then say, oh, it's gonna rain here, or oh, it's raining there, or maybe stand in the rain and say, oh, so it started raining and this place is flooding.
I mean, it goes deeper than that.
Yeah, it goes deeper than that. And so the theme for this year's celebration is the ocean, our climate, and weather.
Right.
I mean, Epi has talked about
the ocean
a lot. So I think basically what the theme is trying to do is talk about how the ocean, how water levels rising, how water levels decreasing, the heat from the ocean, all of that, how they affect the climate and the weather. Because we have instances where the sea has swallowed up big portions of land here in our base. I mean, when I went to the Volta region and then we're coming back, the driver was showing where the town used to start from and where the town is now.
I remember there was this project the president was championing by building some barriers, to prevent the sea from eating into the land.
They have, because the sea has eaten so much of the land. And I don't know if it's just conspiracy theories, but I had some time growing up, I think some years back, that the people in the West were pushing the ocean.
But in Netherlands, they actually did that.
Yeah.
They actually pushed parts of the ocean for land. Okay. Yeah, that's why in French they are called Pays-Bas. And Pays-Bas explains that thing they did to get more land. Okay. Yeah, very, very. I mean, you read on that. It's very interesting.
So then I
but
was
not in the Western region.
No, I'm not saying the Western. I'm saying in the West, like.
Oh,
the
okay, yeah. So Netherlands, yes.
Yes. So,
Netherlands, yes.
If they are doing that, and
Yeah.
I was thinking that could be the reason why the ocean is swallowing up land in other areas.
Taking parts of my body here, so I'll take parts of the
No,
other
it's
one
like
to
you
recover.
have taken land. I mean, if you push water and you take land
You
from
know-
it, that water has to go somewhere.
Exactly. I totally agree. That's all right. Thank you very much, Mami, for that submission. You can join us as well with your thoughts, comments, and contributions on WhatsApp platform +233 2070 on Facebook, Africa Global Radio. Let me come back to you, Hafiz. You were talking about how interesting being a meteorologist is.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Being a meteorologist.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they have a difficult job.
Right.
Yes, I don't envy them at all.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You don't envy them, so you don't want to be one.
At all. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
In a second. You see, even before you find, because let's not make it look like meteorologists are not just on the TV. Okay.
Yeah,
They
I
work
mean,
in research
yeah.
stations, even
mhm.
at the airport.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
They're not just people that appear.
You just go and start
Yes,
flying
exactly.
airplanes. You need to recheck and all.
But then, before you see a meteorologist on your TV, a lot of the time,
Mhm.
the attitude is that of is a skeptical attitude.
Yeah.
People assume they are going to get it wrong even before they open their mouth. So it's like- that's the thing. You see, people assume that.
Why?
even-
Why do you think?
I'll get there.
Okay, fine. Let's
You
continue.
see, people assume they are going to get it wrong even before this.
Right. Okay.
And that's because they are held to a nearly impossible standard of perfection.
Mm.
Okay, you have to get it perfect.
Yeah.
You see, as a meteorologist, you are sitting down because what you do is scientific. You pick up data,
Mm.
you observe whatever information that your machines are giving you, and then
Okay. Mhm.
you have to translate it, interpret it to the ordinary
Mhm.
folks like
To
us
understand. Yeah.
at the end of the day. But then, when you do that, only for the last minute,
Mm.
the weather to do a 360 on
Exactly. Yeah.
you because you were predicting it, or you saw a storm coming.
A possibility.
There was a storm.
Yeah.
Only for
Yeah,
you
like
to-
the storms that came from Nigeria last
Exactly.
time.
Only
Yeah. There was something like that. Yeah.
only for the weather to do a
Anyway.
360 on you. But the thing is, if you look closely at what they do, they're in the business of predicting the future.
Yes.
And I can tell you how many ways that can go wrong. I mean, because at the end of the day,
Uh-huh.
Mother Nature calls the shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Mother Nature gets the last word.
Mm.
And so there are a lot of ways this can go wrong, and we see it all the time when it does happen. But the thing is, they are giving you the information they had at the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean.
And
it
there
was
has been
completely
a space of time,
exactly.
and things have changed within that space of time, so you'd never know.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is what happened, and it's not like they take delight in getting it wrong.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they'll tell you that look, once they get it wrong, questions are asked.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, the reputation and they have to answer questions.
Exactly.
I mean, did they misinterpret something wrong? Was the communication bad? All of these things. These are
yeah.
angles they would they have to interpret. And now here's the ugly part of the whole thing. You see, the thing about meteorologists is that look, they're the ones that would, pick up information,
Right.
see a storm coming, and looking at the devastation of that storm, they turn around and pray that they are wrong. That was very conflicting.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, well, the person smiling and reporting does have family at home.
Mm-hmm.
So if it does play out the way they see it,
Yeah, obviously it wouldn't leave
so,
the family
it's
out.
an interesting job.
It is.
But then again,
Mm.
if you look at what they go through, I think that's what public health officials are going through right now.
Yeah.
What they go through on a daily. Because you see, look at what COVID is doing to public health officials.
Yeah.
Every now and then, new information comes up. Do this, do that,
Yeah.
change this, change
Change
that.
that.
And it's got people become
Tired,
all
like, we're
negative,
tired, yeah, we're
okay,
tired of
look,
you.
You guys don't know what you're doing.
Exactly, yeah.
And they keep telling us, look, we are doing this or conducting this research in real time.
Yeah,
So bear with us. Information
yeah.
is going to change. And I'm sure a meteorologist is standing on the corner like, welcome to my
Welcome to my world. Because if I should predict a weather condition and never
exactly.
comes
And
to
you have
pass,
to explain to people that
why it
this
didn't
is what-
happen. Recently, we had a circular from the meteorological department here in our base.
Yes, on the 18th actually.
Did anything happen?
I don't want to go into it.
Okay, that's fine. Let's just... What, you want to say something?
No, I don't.
All right. I believe all the meteorologists, I just said it. I knew I was going to hit it. All the meteorologists in the world would be, like, these guys, man. Like, it is what it is. Epi.
Barry.
Yeah.
So I think one thing this is a few stats.
Okay.
Last year, that was 2020.
Okay.
Just to throw more light on how alarming the situation is or started becoming for some time now. So when you look at the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season, for last year, there was a record-breaking 30 named tropical storms.
You mean hurricane in the U.S.?
Yes.
Okay.
Including 13 hurricanes, 6 major ones with direct impacts in many countries.
Okay.
It affected the Caribbean Sea, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Atlantic Basin. Also, there were 5 landfalling hurricanes in the Caribbean. 2 of them were at Category 4 strength, and that was just about 2 weeks apart in Nicaragua. So this tells you that for just the whole of last year, there's been it's like the 6th straight season with above average activity.
Okay.
It tells you different things are happening every day, and if we don't start watching what we're doing, these things will become a norm.
Yeah.
These were things that, let's say, in the history for like close to 10, 20, 30 years now, they haven't had them back to back to back like this at such strengths. But now we have them continuously. And in a time where there's COVID, where you actually need to focus on, relief items, how to solve the vaccines and all that, you also had to prepare for natural disasters. And interestingly, these are natural disasters as much as we call them. Our actions affect and bring them about sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If we're chopping down the trees.
Totally agree.
We're literally just sloping down the hills every time.
Yeah.
We're not terracing. We're not doing anything. Any slight disaster
you talked about the mangrove area and how people are busy, intentionally chopping it down for building. So do you think God placed them at the coast for just beautification purposes or just there?
Actually, one thing they even do is they absorb 40% of carbon in the atmosphere.
Take a look at that. So, the position of some of these natural plants and living things, it's not just deliberate. They are there because they... Anyway.
I feel we should start looking at our actions and how each in our own way we contribute to affect the meteorology of the world or not, because climate change is on a different level now.
Absolutely. Let's bear with them as well. When they predict and get it wrong, let's bear with them because, yes, you never know. Someone says this, forget. Look, I know someone who never say, trust. No. I would never trust them. For what?
The last part of her conversation, she talks about climate change and how. But interesting enough, we've seen how climate change has become more of a political debate.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the United States. When Donald Trump assumed the office.
Yeah.
We saw him pull out of the Paris Climate Accord and everything. And so the gains made in the previous administration in terms of,
they didn't go anywhere.
It took it,
a
steps
turn,
back because a lot of the time there's this issue of whether or not fracking and all that. So all these things has become a political debate.
Yes,
we've had corporations come in and talk about the fact that all these climate change. If essentially Donald Trump was saying that climate change is a hoax. So
I think one thing
that's why he told Greta to chill.
Yeah, I think she fired back. Yeah, she did that.
One thing I just want to say, as much as it's become a politics, we know the ways of human beings. We know the ways of people in power. Any big issue that has a lot of money coming in and people directing funds towards people and put places of power to make it a political issue or turn it into some form of
to gain political.
Exactly. People will be on the left or the right, but I think we should not necessarily forget. That's why I said the individuals. I said we as in, I didn't say the government or those. Right now, what are you doing? How much plastic waste are you putting out there? If we start from that level, we can do something. Because if we say we're going to sit and wait for governments or these big corporations to do something, we'll be there.
That will take a long time, huh?
That is the thing.
Okay. Mami, want to wrap it up?
Yeah. I'll wrap it up with some names.
Okay.
Seeing as
names of what? Talkative?
Yeah, if I was doing that, Hafiz would be at the top of the list.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah.
And maybe the devil's advocates, aka.
So since you're in the month of women, we'd like to be giving some names of some women who are defying the odds and are paving the future for women in weather.
Right.
So these are women who are part of the African Swift Project.
Okay.
And what the African Swift Project does, it is improving on the accuracy of weather forecasting.
Okay.
Which is critical for people's safety and for key economic sectors such as aviation, agriculture, energy, water, and then emergency response.
Right.
So the first is Kumba Nyang, and she is a postdoctoral researcher at the University Cheikh Anta Diop, UCAD, in Dakar, Senegal. Yeah, she's a research scientist and she's responsible for the UCAD's work on seasonal to sub-seasonal weather prediction, a key time scale for decision making across sectors including agriculture, healthcare, and then energy.
Okay.
We also have Jemima Gachera Ongoma. And she's a principal meteorologist at the Kenya Meteorological Department in Nairobi, Kenya.
Okay.
So what Jemima does is she contributes to several aspects of the African Swift program, including research on synoptic meteorology, which is key timescale used for responding to high impact events like storms and then floods as well.
Okay.
We also have Mami Thioro Diouf. And she is a project assistant at Agence Nationale de l'Aviation Civile et de la Météorologie.
Were you speaking English and French? Like I'm confused. Speaking English. Aviation. We don't have Sean in French. It's Sion. Anyway, continue. Yeah.
That is the ANACIM, also in Dakar, Senegal.
Okay.
So what she does is she's a key part of the team responsible for administration, finance, and event organizations for projects at ANACIM, the National Meteorological Service in Senegal. So we have another woman here from our base, Ghana. She's called Marianne Osei.
Okay.
And she is a research scientist at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi in the Ashanti region of our base, Ghana.
Right.
So she is an African Swift research scientist studying West African case study storms using statistical analysis. Then we have Marceline Gudoshava.
Okay.
She's also a research scientist at the IGAD Climate Prediction and Application Center in Nairobi, Kenya.
Right.
The ICPAC is a center providing climate services to 11 countries in East Africa. Her responsibilities range from research to operational forecasting and project management. We also have Nira Havana Razana Motofarimanga.
Okay.
Wow. She's a fellow at the University Cheikh Anta Diop
in Senegal.
In Madagascar.
Oh, really?
In Antananarivo in Madagascar.
Okay.
Yeah. So due to COVID-19, she's based in Madagascar but works remotely with the SWIFT team at UCAD in Senegal.
All right.
Her research focuses on improving understanding of the rainy season. And finally, we have Patricia in Yongguru.
Okay.
She's also a principal meteorologist at the Kenya Meteorological Department in Nairobi, Kenya. So in the SWIFT program, she leads research on sub-seasonal to seasonal forecasts.
Right.
So I think these are outstanding women. I mean, these women will serve as role models for young girls who are up and coming.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some of these science fields are things we usually think will be for men.
Yep.
But these are women research meteorologists who are doing amazing things.
Yeah.
I mean, studying the rainy season.
Exactly.
We are here, we just think, rainy season is like when it rains. But this is somebody who is studying. These are people who are studying storms and floods and all of that.
They understand it way better.
Floods.
And yeah.
I don't know why I keep saying flood.
Okay, maybe she's been mentioning Floyd. What's his name again?
Floyd.
George Floyd.
Yeah.
And maybe Floyd Mayweather, the money team.
Yeah, so I mean a big gaps to all of these women.
Absolutely.
And I mean, just like Epi said, what are we doing our own little way to help the climate? Because I saw a news story somewhere that said there's a huge pile of rubbish somewhere in the ocean. I don't remember which part of the ocean. But if there's a huge pile of rubbish, who is putting it there? It's our activities.
And what are we... There's a problem. There's a big problem. Anyway, Hafiz, wrap up for us.
With rubbish, I think some countries are doing well. there are some countries that are actually converting, the waste of certain countries into energy.
Yeah.
They actually buy them. I'm not going to mention them because of the platform. Anyway,
Yeah.
but quickly on, I want to run a simple test here.
You always want to come up with a test.
No, it's just a simple test.
Right. How many?
More than looking at
shoot. Just
okay,
shoot. Just
so
go.
how many of us have a weather app here?
A weather app?
On our phones.
Well, I
Show
do.
my hand.
I do.
Google does it.
Not Google, just one you downloaded from
I
a
don't.
third party.
No, I didn't download it. It's more of like part of the software the phone has. So yeah.
Besides that, do you have one?
It's on my phone already. Why will I download it again?
Google tells me it'll be sunny in Sotom or it'll rain in Sotom.
Because you see, a lot of the time we
Yeah.
talk about the weather, and I think in these parts, we are blessed in a certain way. Because I mean, we are not dealing with snowstorms and everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if in certain countries where you'd have to wake up and shovel your way through your driveway, that is.
And even your car, you need to have
exactly.
the whatever.
But here we are talking of rainy or not raining.
Yeah.
And we are
good to go.
And I think after the June 3, 2015 water and fire disaster we experienced in our
base,
Ghana, we saw a lot of people download apps,
just to know what's happening in the next minute. Yeah.
And the question I'm asking is, where has all of that gone?
Okay, we have the meteorological department. They'll do the job for us. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us on this particular segment, the discussion zone. And yes, I mean, really, it was really interesting. Today being World Meteorological Day. Let's do our own part. Let's play our culture very well, and let's also contribute to protecting our environment, and leave the rest to those the helms of affairs, so they can also continue. So I mean, it's a collective effort. Let's not forget that it's not a one-party thing. It's both parties coming together for a better cause.